My name is Jeff Gomez. I am the CEO of Starlight Runner Entertainment. We're a production company that's based in New York City that specializes in a new technique called transmedia narrative. We're producers of transmedia content. In this day and age, young people are moving from one screen to the next, from one device to the next, absolutely intuitively. And this is something that's not going away. In fact, it's only going to get more smooth and more intuitive with each passing year. In addition to all of that, there is a social media component that kids younger and younger, now in grade school even, kids are joining social media like Instagram, Facebook, and so forth, and communicating to one another, sometimes without us even knowing about it. There's a lot of fear involved in all of this, and I continue to teach. I started out as a school teacher right out of college, and I teach in classrooms across the United States, in Canada, Mexico, and around the world. And frankly, I'm troubled by a certain response to this new technology. It's funny. It's the kind of response that we saw historically with the advent of television. People were afraid that it was addictive and destructive. We saw it with video games in the 80s and 90s, where this new medium was horrible, violent, and disruptive to young people. And of course, we're seeing it with the internet in the 90s and the aughts. My gosh, there's all kinds of panic because kids will get lost or horribly corrupted by the internet. I think we have to put this all in perspective and understand that new media is only going to continue to evolve more rapidly, giving us all, including young people, incredible tools through which they can express themselves with greater power, poignancy, and interactivity. We have to understand that technology and the learning of the use and application of technology is required. In other countries, the use of social media and new technologies, interactive technologies, are integrated into the education system from kindergarten on up. Why? Because the governments of those countries have a fundamental understanding that the world is going to be very, very different in 2, 3, 5 years. The world is going to need young people who aren't just adept at communicating through a single medium, as we used to be, but young people who are adept at conveying their ideas in concert across a variety of media platforms. This is a transmedia sensibility, and if we in the United States don't come to understand this and assuage our suspicions and our fears of these new media, we're going to be in trouble because we will slip further and further behind. It is concerning to me that a preteen in Brazil is far more adept at conducting himself and communicating his ideas on Facebook than the average American child of the same age. It is not something to shun. It is something that we have to embrace as a natural evolution of our society. In college, we are still seeing students submit their term papers on a single medium. And it's funny, when a student needs to communicate their idea across a few different media, the professor doesn't know how to absorb the information. They don't know which thing to look at first. They don't know how to grade such a thing. And that's unfortunate because that's the way that these people in 5, 7, 10 years are going to be expected to communicate. And if there are only a handful of those people who actually do so effectively, there is going to be a huge swath of this generation, this rising generation, that's going to be cut out of success. If you're interested in transmedia storytelling and transmedia education, at the end of this video there'll be a few different links for you to look into this and perhaps consider lesson plans or programs that you can use to become familiar with transmedia and to get your students to start thinking in a transmedia way.